Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. So you're working for another company, you've been looking out for jobs and you get a very good salary package, or maybe it's not what you expected. So how do you negotiate to get your ideal salary package? So let's focus on that in this episode. So here's the thing. So one thing I want to say up front is when you're negotiating your salary package, especially if you want something higher than what they proposed, remember the simple golden rule. Be very genuine, okay? Don't make things up. Be truthful, be honest, be genuine. That's the key word. So let's look into the 3 steps, all right? Step number 1 is do a background check on the companies. It's not really hard finding someone who's already working for that company. Usually a friend's friend might work in the company, or social networks are there. So it's not impossible. You spend maybe at max a week's time. Every company has a certain salary pay range. So they will say it's minimum X amount to maximum X amount, and given that budget, they will try to negotiate so that you are on the lower end of their salary budget spectrum. Now, if you have a background information on this is their range, then you have this room to negotiate to the higher end of that salary spectrum. Another thing you can also do in your background check is how desperate they are to fill that position. Maybe there are 7 positions required and only 3 have filled in, so 4 more have to be filled. Or maybe it's just 1 position that hasn't been filled in 3 months or 6 months. It's not very hard if you think about it. You just have to get social, you just start networking, and you dig the background details of that designation for which you are offered a salary package. You can do this even at the beginning of the interview, right? The second thing is, whether it's the same city or whether it's a different city, make a rough estimate on the living lifestyle, right? Is your rent going to be more expensive? Is the cost of living, far higher than what you're making right now? So your expenditure is more. What's the point of getting a higher salary, but you end up going there and you spend more and you actually save less than what you're actually saving right now? So you have to do that math. Only when you do this, you stand in a position to even negotiate a better salary package. And the last thing is, I said savings a little bit in my second point. That is actually my third point. When I talk about savings, why I mentioned this point as the third point is because you always have to think of savings in the long term. Maybe you're investing in mutual funds or stock market, or you're trying to buy a land or trying to pay off a house or get a better car, right? You actually have to calculate your savings for the next 5 years. You should imagine that when you go into that new position, you are going to be stuck there for at least 5 years, and base your savings component, base your savings forecast by that 5-year timeline. So when you have factored all these 3, right, the company's background information, background intelligence, call it spying if you may, but it's not unethical, right? Word of mouth or whatever. Calculate the cost of living for that place you are going. And number 3, forecast your savings. Once you do these things, you can propose that this is the salary package I'm looking for if I have to justify my move from this company to your company. And be very bold when you say this statement, right? Be firm in that, be genuine. And when that person, the recruiter or the hiring manager, realize that, they will accept to your request. If they say no, walk away. It shouldn't be one of those scenarios where you walk from the frying pan into the fire. As I said, right? You shouldn't go into a place thinking you're getting a higher salary, but your expenses are even more, and regret making that move. So I hope this helps, but if you got other questions around these points, do let me know and we can address that in the consecutive videos.